Good morning, everyone. What we had studied in the last session, we had studied about the plant fibers and animal fibers. We know that cotton clothes are made from plant fibers. Can anyone tell me why do we wear woolen clothes during winter when it is cold outside? We wear woolen clothes during winter because it keeps us warm. Now, can you tell why do we wear light colored cotton clothes when it is hot during the summer? During summer, we prefer to wear cotton clothes because it gives us a feeling of coolness. Now, you might have wondered why particular types of clothes are suitable for a particular season, isn't it? Now, why not we wear the woolen clothes in summer? Why do we wear the woolen clothes in winter only? These many questions may arise in your mind, right? Now, in winter, you feel cold inside the house. If you come out in the sun, you feel warm. How do you feel? You feel warm, isn't it? In summer, when you feel hot, even inside, when you are sitting inside the house, how do we know whether an object is hot or cold? How do we find out how hot or cold an object is? So, children, in this session, we will try to seek answers to some of these questions. So, today we are going to start with the new chapter, Heat. And the first topic is hot and cold. Now, in our day-to-day life, we come across a number of objects. If you will see since morning, when you get up, you take a tea or a glass of milk, and some of them are hot, some of them are cold. If you will see the tea, how it is, the tea is hot and ice is cold. You can get so many examples of the objects which we use in our day-to-day life. If we will touch it, we will find that some of them are hot, some of them are cold. We know that some objects are hotter than others while some are colder than others. Now, how do we decide which object is hotter than the other? Let us do one activity. Take some objects like ice cream, spoon in a teacup, fruit juice, handle of a frying pan. And if I'll ask you, touch it and then tell me whether the given object is hot or cold. What you will find? If you will touch the ice cream, what you will find? Whether it is hot or cold? You will find it is cold, right? If you will touch a spoon in a teacup, it is hot. Fruit juice, you will find it cold. Handle of a frying pan, you will find it hot. Now, how do we decide which object is hotter than the other? We often do it by touching the objects. Now, how you have found that ice cream is cold or the spoon in a teacup is hot? By touching it, right? So, by touching it, we come to know whether the given object is hotter or colder. But is our sense of reliable? This is called sense of touch. This is called sense of touch. But is our sense of touch reliable? We will find out with this small activity. What you have to do in this activity, you have to take 3 large mugs and label them as A, B and C. Now you have to put cold water in mug A and hot water in mug B. While taking this hot water, do not take too much hot water. Be careful while handling a hot water because you may get burned. Mix some cold and hot water in mug C. Now what you have to do? You have to dip your left hand in mug A. In mug A, which water was there? In mug A, which water we had put? Cold water. Good. So you have to put your left hand in mug A and the right hand in mug B. Which water we had kept in the mug B? Hot water, right? After keeping the hands in the two mugs for 2 to 3 minutes, you have to keep your hand in both the mugs in 2 to 3 minutes. Now remove your hand, take out your hand from those two mugs and put both the hands simultaneously in mug C. In mug C, what is there? In mug C, we have mixed the hot and cold water. Now tell me one thing, children. Do both the hands get the same feeling? What do you think? No, both the hands, they will not get the same feeling. So what do we conclude from this activity? We conclude from this activity that we cannot always rely on our sense of touch. By using the sense of touch, we say whether the object is hot or cold, but it is not all the time reliable. So now what next? How to decide whether the object is hot or cold? To decide whether an object is hot or cold, sometimes it may deceive us. If you will rely on the sense of touch, it may deceive you. Deceive means it may tell wrong. Then how do we find out how hot an object really is? A reliable measure of the hotness of an object is its temperature. What it is? It is temperature. So what is temperature? Temperature is a measure of the degree of the hotness of an object. Now the temperature is measured. How we can measure the temperature? Temperature is measured by a device called thermometer. So what is thermometer? Thermometer is nothing but a device which is used to measure temperature. Now in the next topic, we will learn about how to measure the temperature. Now we have seen that we use a device, what it is called? Thermometer. So in this topic, we will learn about how to measure the temperature. Children, have you ever seen a thermometer? Recall that when you or someone else in your family had fever, the temperature was measured by, what do we use to measure the temperature? We use thermometer? Yes. The thermometer that measures our body temperature is called a clinical thermometer. What it is called? Clinical thermometer. So what is clinical thermometer? Clinical thermometer is a thermometer that is used to measure our body temperature. Now hold the thermometer in your hand and examine it carefully. You do not have a thermometer. Request a friend to share it with you. A clinical thermometer looks like the one shown here on the screen. A clinical thermometer consists of long, narrow, uniform glass tube. It has a bulb at one end. This bulb, what does it contain? It contains mercury. Outside the bulb, a small shining thread of mercury can be seen. If you do not see the mercury thread, rotate the thermometer a bit till you see it. You will also find a scale on the thermometer. The scale we use is the Celsius scale. Which scale? Celsius scale. It is indicated by degree C, means degree Celsius. A clinical thermometer reads temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. So, what is the range? It is called the range of the clinical thermometer. What is the range of the clinical thermometer? 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. So, now we have seen, we have studied that a device which is used to measure the temperature is thermometer. Now we will study how to read a thermometer. So, reading a thermometer. Let us learn how to read a thermometer. First, note the temperature difference indicated between the two bigger marks. Also, note the number of divisions between these marks. Suppose the bigger marks read 1 degree and there are 5 divisions between them. Then one small division can read as 1 by 5 is equal to 0.2 degree Celsius, right? Now what you have to do? You have to wash the thermometer, preferably with an antiseptic solution. What you will use to wash the thermometer? Antiseptic solution. Why do we do this? So that if any germ is there, it will kill it. Hold it firmly and give it a few jerks. The jerks will bring, why do we give the jerk? Because the jerk bring the level of mercury down. Now ensure that it falls below 35 degrees Celsius. Why? Because the range of the clinical thermometer is 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. So you have to give a jerk to the thermometer so that the mercury level will come down to the 35 degrees Celsius. Now place the bulb of the thermometer under your tongue. After 1 minute, take the thermometer out and note the reading. This is your body temperature. The temperature should always be stated with its unit. Degree Celsius. What did you record as your body temperature? The normal temperature of human body is 37 degrees Celsius. We had to note down the temperature always with its unit. So now what is the normal temperature of human body? 37 degrees Celsius. While using the thermometer, we have to take some precautions to be observed while reading a clinical thermometer. Like what precautions you have to take? First, thermometer should be washed before and after use, preferably with an antiseptic solution. Then ensure that before use the mercury level is below 35 degrees Celsius. Read the thermometer keeping the level of mercury along the line of sight. Then handle the thermometer with care. If it hits against some hard object, it can break. Don't hold the thermometer by the bulb while reading it. So these are some precautions that we have to observe while using it, right children? Now today you will do a small activity at your home. What you have to do in this activity, you have to measure the body temperature of some of your family members with a clinical thermometer. Record your observations. Now, is the body temperature of every person 37 degrees Celsius? We have to find out this. The temperature of every person may not be 37 degrees Celsius. It could be slightly higher or slightly lower. Actually, what we call normal temperature is the average body temperature of a large number of healthy persons. The clinical thermometer is designed to measure the temperature of human body only. The temperature of human body normally does not go below 35 degrees Celsius or above 42 degrees Celsius. That is the reason that the thermometer has the range 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. You cannot measure the temperature of hot milk using a clinical thermometer. Why? Because the range is between 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, whereas the hot milk, the temperature is more. So, what will happen if you will try to do that? It may break, right? So, do not use a clinical thermometer for measuring the temperature of any object other than the human body. Also, avoid keeping the thermometer in the sun or near a flame. What will happen if you will do this? It may break. So, now the question arises, then how to measure the temperature of other objects? This is all. Now, clinical thermometer is used to measure the human body temperature. So, now what about the temperature of other objects? You must be thinking, then how do we measure the temperature of other objects? For this purpose, there are other thermometers. One such thermometer is known as laboratory thermometer that we use in our lab. Look at it carefully and note the highest and the lowest temperature it can measure. If you will see the laboratory thermometer, here the figure is there on your screen, the laboratory thermometer. You have to note down the highest and the lowest temperature. The range of a laboratory thermometer is generally from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Now find out how much a small division on this thermometer reads. You need this information to read the thermometer correctly. Let us now learn how this laboratory thermometer is used. We will do one small activity to learn it. Take some tap water in a beaker or a mug. Dip the thermometer in water so that the bulb is immersed in water. Why it should immerse in water? So that we can get the temperature of it. But does not touch the bottom or the sides of the container. Hold the thermometer vertically. Observe the movement of mercury in the thermometer. Wait till the mercury thread becomes steady, means stop. Now note the reading. This is the temperature of water at that time. Compare the temperature of water recorded by each student What do you find? Are there any variations in the readings? Yes. It depends on how much hot water you have taken. If different students have taken different, then it may differ. The reading may differ, right? Now we will do one small activity so that we will find out the reason for the variations in the reading of temperature of water. For this activity, take some hot water in a beaker or a mug. Dip the thermometer in water. Wait till the mercury thread becomes steady and note the temperature. Now take out the thermometer from water. Observe carefully. What happens now? Do you notice that as soon as you take the thermometer out of water, the level of mercury begins to fall. This means the temperature must be read while the thermometer is in water. You may recall that while taking your own temperature, you have to take the thermometer out of your mouth to note the reading. First we keep it in the mouth under the tongue, and then after 1 minute you take it out. Why? To take the reading. While in case of water, when the thermometer is there in the water only, at that time only we had to note down the temperature. In the laboratory thermometer, measure, now see, one question may arise in your mind, that can laboratory thermometer measure our body temperature? Obviously, it is not convenient to use a laboratory thermometer for this purpose. Why does the thermometer not fall or rise in a clinical thermometer when taken out of the mouth? Like as we have seen in the laboratory thermometer, when we take it out from the water, the mercury level, it falls. But when we take out in the clinical thermometer, when we take it out from the mouth, the mercury level, it doesn't fall. Why? What is the reason? Because if you will observe a clinical thermometer, you will find a kink, K-I-N-K, kink near the bulb. What is the use of this kink? It prevents mercury level from falling on its own. So this was all about the clinical and laboratory thermometer. Though there is a lot of concern over the use of mercury in thermometers, mercury is a toxic substance and is very difficult to dispose of if a thermometer breaks. These days, digital thermometers are available which do not use mercury. Different types of thermometers are used for different purposes. The maximum and minimum temperature of the day reported in weather reports are measured by a thermometer called the maximum and minimum thermometer. Now, precautions that you have to take while reading the laboratory thermometer. In addition to the precautions needed while reading a clinical thermometer, the laboratory thermometer should be kept upright, not tilted. Bulb should be surrounded from all sides by the substance of which the temperature is to be measured. The bulb should not touch the surface of the container. So, children, this was all about the clinical and the laboratory thermometer. Then we have seen why the mercury, why we should not the thermometers where the mercury are used, as it is very difficult to dispose of if it breaks, right? This was, now quickly we will revise all the points what we have discussed today. We can tell whether an object is hot or cold merely by touching. Our sense of touch is not always a reliable guide to the degree of hotness of an object. Temperature is a measure of the degree of hotness of an object. Thermometer is a device used for measuring temperatures. Clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature, whereas the laboratory thermometer is used in the labs. The range of clinical thermometer is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. For other purpose, we use the laboratory thermometer. The range of the laboratory thermometer is usually from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. The normal temperature of the human body is 37 degrees Celsius. So, this was all about today's session. Here I end this session. Thank you.